Hello, everybody. Salvadoran Warrior here, and today I'm going to talk about one of my favorite characters in a manga series known as Berserk. And at the same time, I'm also going to talk about a class mod character that is in the Darkest Dungeon. Today, I introduce you to Guts, the Black Swordsman, for he is now a class mod character in the Darkest Dungeon. Keep in mind, I had an old update of Guts from a different source, and when I saw that there was an update for Guts, I was very uneasy whether or not I want to download the update. But so far, it's a thing. Until then, before we start this video, like and subscribe, and if you're interested in downloading the Guts character, I'll leave a link in the description. And if you just want to see his gameplay, I'll also leave a timestamp in the description. Without further ado, let's start talking about Guts. Now, his base stats are really interesting. If I were to eliminate all the trinkets that he comes with, besides the hard skin quirk, he has a lot of HP, not a lot of dodge, and speed's like pretty poor, but the crit is amazing, and so is his damage. With that aside, he is gonna need some help with his accuracy, because some of his combat skills, and I say some, have pretty low accuracy, but I'll talk about that later. For now, the stats that I showed you, pretty decent for a frontliner, except for the fact that his resistances are slightly unique. The stun, he's able to like resist it, and his his move resistances and his bleed resistances are pretty high. His debuff resistances is, somewhere in the middle. Same thing with traps. He could barely disarm some traps. The blight is the same way. He has pretty high resistance for blight. His disease, however, is pretty low, so he can get sick. However, his death blow is probably the highest so far in the Darkest Dungeon. Most class mods and official Darkest Dungeon characters on the roster pretty much almost have the same number of death blows. Guts is one of the few that has that high death blow. So Guts is literally too angry to die. With that said, his base stats is pretty decent, except for the fact that his crit is pretty high and his damage numbers are pretty high, right next to his HP, and most of his resistances are in the high numbers, except for his stun. It's stupidly high. So let's get started in talking about the combat skills. Now, before I continue on, I just want to make this very clear. Most of his combat skills are going to be slightly similar to the leper. There's only like 3 combat skills that are slightly unique, but other than that, I'm going to be referencing the leper a lot. For starters, chop. Chop is a combat skill that can be used in positions 1 to 2 and could hit positions 1 and 2, and it has an accuracy base of 100. The crit base is 9%, and on hit, if he's successful, he gets a stress heal of -5. A lot better than the regular chop from Leper. Leper not only had a lower accuracy base, but the crit was pretty high, but it didn't come with a stress heal. See right here towards King David, there it is. This is what chop looks like. So That's why I was gonna make a lot of references to the leper, but that'll be the first and last time. After that, you can just look it up yourself. Um, it's really good though. A stress heal is too good to pass up. Always recommend. Always use. Do not leave this hanging. Slash is another move that is similar to leper, which gives him a 95 accuracy base, so it's pretty low. It can be used in positions 1 to 2 and is an AoE hit from positions 1 to 2 on the enemy side. It does half damage, but the crit is pretty weak, but it has a stress heal of -5 on hit. Again, similar to the leper's Huey, and it does almost the exact same thing. On this time, the stress heal is not included in the leper's arsenal. So if you really want to, you can use both these moves and get a good sense of, you know, of choices when it comes to hitting the enemy front line. With that aside, this move is also pretty good, even though the crit is pretty low. It shouldn't really make a difference on your base stats. Or trinkets if you're gonna use trinkets to boost that crit. No. Let's move on to the next combat skill. The next combat skill is Anger. It can be used in any position and is a one-time use, and it's similar to Leper's where is it? Revenge. Only this time he doesn't receive a negative 10 dodge or receive 25% damage. Instead, he just comes with a 35% boost in damage, plus 15 accuracy, and plus 15% crit. So yeah, it's really good. I would only use this in boss fights though, or mid boss fights. So if you ever like encounter the Collector, the Shambler, or the Thing, I'll use this turn 1. That way, you can dish out as much damage as you can. And if the boost of accuracy, oh yeah, you won't miss this time. Now, if this is your first time trying to get through the darkest dungeon, if you go up to any boss, this is also a must. Sure, you suffer plus 5 stress, but it shouldn't matter because you got these two moves that will stress heal you. So don't be afraid of getting stressed out. It's just how it is. The last combat skill that's similar to Leper is Rage, which is quite similar to Withstand. Only this time, it doesn't come with all these benefits. Instead, it just comes with 30% protection, 30% debuff, 30% move resistances, and he gets marked. It can be used in positions 1, 2, and 3, and is it a one-time use. Honestly, I wouldn't mind if this was, just the same as Withstand. But since it's not, I don't think it's worth using. I would pass on this move. Now, if it did more things, maybe I would have considered using it in the arsenal. But until then, it's just not worth it. So that's the downer for this move. It looks cool too because it has that cool icon, but not worth using. Now here are the moves that are kind of unique from Guts. Like this move, Repeater Crossbow. Repeater Crossbow is a move that can be used in positions 2, 3, and 4 and can hit multiple enemies from positions 1 through 3. It's an accuracy base of 110, does half damage, but the crit is at 9%, and if the enemy is marked, it will do 100% full damage with a plus 15 crit. However, once used, Guts will suffer a debuff of -5 dodge and -5 protection. It's not too bad. the old update for Guts was really bad. Because instead of suffering -5, you would suffer 45, -45 dodge and -45 protection. However, it still didn't make a difference at champion level because I still took the 1 damage. In the old update, Guts' armor made you tank hits from 1 to 3 damage, and it wasn't until like half health where Guts will start taking like big numbers. Now he lost that ability. That's removed. But that didn't mean repeater crossbow wasn't like nerfed. In the old update, it was broken. In the new update, it's still broken. Would I recommend it? Hell yeah. Don't worry about the debuffs. Totally okay. The next unique ability is Brand of Sacrifice. It is a self-heal of 10 HP, but you get stressed out with +8. You get marked, but it activates a repose. Now on the repose, you get a +5 accuracy and a 4% crit. The downside is that you'll be doing -20% damage, which is fine because reposes are like really powerful in this game. And I know this move I said is really unique, but it's also similar to Leper's Solemnity. The only difference, it doesn't do a stress heal, and it sacrifices a stress heal with a repose. And you know what? Who cares? You're getting a repose, something that the old Guts update never had. I mean, the old, Guts character thingamajig didn't have. The new update gave him a repose, so it's welcomed. I welcome it. It's good. It's really good. The last one, which is really unique, is the Cannon Arm. The Cannon Arm is a range ability that can be used in positions 1 to 2 and can hit any positions on the enemy side from 1, 2, and 3, and 4. It is a range move with an accuracy base of 110 that does 80 plus damage with armor piercing, bypasses stealth, de-stresses Guts by -3 points, and if he's ever stealth, he'll de-stealth himself. However, once on hit, he'll be marked and he'll get a buff of, his target will get a buff of 5% crit, but you will get a boost of 4 points of speed. It's a one-time use only. Keep in mind, wherever you hit with this move will get deleted. It doesn't matter if, you shouldn't be worried if they're gonna live, because I don't know, man. This cannon move, it's just way too powerful. Just way too powerful for its own good. So I would recommend this once you start getting into veteran dungeons, because you're gonna run upon enemies who are stealth, and that's just not gonna be fun. So yeah, I recommend it. Overall, if you want an idea, this is what your load up should look like. If you're not planning to use the cannon arm, this is also nice. Make sure you have a mark synergy team so you can get the mark benefits from using this. And if you really want some action, you can just do this. Or if you don't want this, you can do this too. It doesn't matter what you do with it, as long as Guts is swinging and hitting, it is totally okay, my friend. Totally okay. Now let's talk about his camping skills. Now, I already talked about these moves. Everyone comes with these. But what's kind of disappointing is that most of Guts' camping skills are borrowed from different characters. Like this one. Maintain Sword is coming from the Man-at-Arms Maintain Equipment, which does the same thing. Time costs 4, and only on the self gives Guts 15% protection and 15% damage. It lasts for 4 battles. You know, it's not unique from Guts, but it's really good to have. So if you're ever using a Man of Arms, um, you can use it. If you're using Guts, use this too. Restless Nights is another camping skill that the Highwayman has. It's a time cost too, and on the self only, uh, it will give you a 20% scouting chance. This lasts for 4 battles too. Again, I fucked up. This move is not from the Highwayman, it's from the Grave Robber. Grave Robber has this camping skill. And if I were to review the Grave Robber, I would say it's alright. She doesn't have a lot of good camping skills. I know there's one in there, or two, but that's pretty much it. Nothing all that great. Other than that, it's an okay move. It's alright. This one, Mercenary Sense, is another borrowed camping skill that comes from the Highwayman. This time I'm on point with this. And it's a nightmare prevention, and it gives you a negative 20% chance of a party surprise and a plus 20% chance of a monster surprise. This lasts for 4 battles, and it's a time cost 4. Again, the Highwayman has this, and they're both good. It's just that Guts has it in his inventory. The last one is Branded, which is similar to Leper's camping skill, Quarantine. It's a time cost 3, and only on itself suffers 20% HP, and to all of his party has a 50% chance of either stress healing for negative 20 or negative 15. It's a time cost 3. All I gotta say is that these camping skills are borrowed from different Darkest Dungeon characters, and I guess the mod creator just got some camping skills that might be unique, not unique, might be helpful to Guts as a whole. Like, they brought in the best camping skills and they just gave it to Guts. Like, this benefits Guts, this kind of benefits Guts, this benefits Guts, and since Guts has a lot of HP, Guts is willing to sacrifice that HP so he can stress heal the party. And, you know, that's pretty much all I gotta say about these camping skills. Like, they could be good, but, you know, what can I say? Now, as for Trinkets, I don't really have a lot on Guts' side. All I have is, like, I don't know. Hold on. Well, it's somewhere. I know it's somewhere. Oh, here we go. I only have these two. And this one as well. This gives Guts a 30% protection with stress healing and healing itself received, but I can never tell because it's always doing 5. I don't know. I just can't wait to put this on because I'm waiting until I get to champion level so I can start using this. Everything's good with this trinket. You get like a plus 60% melee damage with plus 4 speed, plus 4 crit, 10% crit, and plus 10 dodge, which is pretty helpful. But you lose a negative 50% chance of bleed resistance, and I think if the enemy hits you, you gain a bleed, which is 2 points over time for 2 rounds. And I don't know. I just think that's interestingly scary. I just want to make sure that I don't screw myself over with this type of trinket. If not, you know, you can just treat Guts like the leper and make sure he has an accuracy charm and 1 damaging trinket, so you can get a huge benefit with Guts' chop. That's all I gotta say. And if you're wondering what kind of team he works with, similar, since he has this, maybe a Mark Synergy team. If not, he can run the basic team of him being in position 2, while you have someone at support, and then you have like a damager in the back row with a healer in the middle. Or you can just say, I don't want to use this. What if I want to do this? All of a sudden, you have a frontliner that can be useful to be in positions 1. You don't have to worry about that anymore. There's just a lot of things you can do with this character. You just gotta treat him like the leper, if the leper was buffed as hell. Overall, this class mod character is kind of cool because it's Guts at the end of the day. And if you're a huge fan of Berserk, you're gonna love this character because it's Guts, and you get to fantasize about having Guts be in the darkest dungeon, and it'll just be like the coolest shit ever, especially some of the dialogue he says. However, it's unfortunate for me to tell you through this video that the author, Miura, passed away. He was only 54, and you know, I didn't plan this out. Like, I think it was like a Monday. I wanted to make a Guts class mod review in the darkest dungeon, and in the previous recording, it sounded a lot different. You know, very cheerful. I was just like so happy to talk about, you know, Guts and gush over some of his trinkets that were referenced in the manga. But since the author and illustrator passed away, I don't know how to feel about this. I'm pretty sad, especially since you know, the story itself has had its ups and downs. Like, it was going good, and then there was that hiatus with the boat arc where the meme was he never got off the boat. And then we're here. He gets off the boat. We're on a new path. I was excited to like read more in Berserk. And then spoiler happened and I got really excited. And then when that disappointment happened on Guts' face, I was really, really heartbroken, and I will never know the conclusion to that. But it's selfish for me to think that the story will never end. I should actually just be happy that Miura got to present Berserk to the world, and it was such a great story that, you know, it helped a lot of people to overcome some things. In fact, thanks to Guts, I was able to get through life a little easier. I may be struggling, but I'm fighting. And that's what was important with Guts. He was always fighting. He never stopped. And, you know, I looked up to Guts. As childish as it may sound, but he was my hero. So it's part of the reasons why I got into modding the darkest dungeon. I never wanted to do it, but when I saw that Guts was a class mod character in the darkest dungeon, he was my first class mod character, and I got really excited, and I kept gushing over how he was gonna get through the dungeons. And trust me, he has died. Multiple Gutses has died. In fact, when I got to the darkest dungeon, he actually passed, I think. I don't remember. I know he died recently, because he survived the darkest dungeon, and here he is. And when I had him, oh yeah, week 420. And when I brought him into the Summer Isles midnight event, you know, where they come to the hamlet for a war, he actually died in that raid. And I was really devastated. I also remember, like before walking into making this type of content, I posted like random videos. One of them was losing my entire team, which I had a private because I think it used copyrighted music, and I didn't know that at the time. And my first character that I got, which was Guts, it ended up being the character that bit the dust at champion level. So yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is Guts, he's the man. He's my man. And now I'll never see a conclusion to it. But that's okay, because Miura's stories will not be forgotten. And neither would people's fan art. This type of shit. If you watch the anime, that doesn't matter which one it is. The 90s version, the movies, and the infamous 2016 version, which wasn't really liked due to bad CGI. And then there's this, the video games too. Remember Berserk on the Dreamcast? Remember the beat 'em up Berserk, which wasn't even all that good anyway? And then there's this, class mod characters. Hell, even Monster Hunter had a layered armor set of the Berserker armor, and it was fucking awesome. It even had the Dragon Slayer too. Anyways, I'm done talking about Guts. Really heartbroken about it, and I hope everyone who's a Berserk fan can, you know, mourn for him and hopefully move on with their lives, because I'm pretty sure that's what he wants everyone to do, to just remember his work and just move on with life. So anyways, guys, hopefully when I talk about the next class mod character, nothing tragic happens. Knocking on wood this time. So, you know, I'll talk to you guys later, and I'll see you around.